financially.
Continuing coverage now on the aftermath of the federal government shutdown and the new eligibility requirements for food assistance benefits.
Well, if you are what the government calls able-bodied, you could lose access to SNAP. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar telling us what those requirements are and brings us reaction tonight.
Government officials say if you are 18 to 65 years old, you don't have a disability, you don't live with kids under the age of 14, and you don't work at least 20 hours a week, you'll likely lose your SNAP benefits. Some people on SNAP tell me they don't know if they'll have enough money to afford groceries.
That's some bull.
Nelson Scott is on the verge of losing access to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. He is 38, not disabled, doesn't have any kids, doesn't go to school, and doesn't have a job. Those are just some of the reasons he is no longer eligible for SNAP benefits. How much did SNAP help you?
It helped me a lot. I get $292 a month.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture crackdown is led by President Trump, who signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law in July. The government shutdown stalled the November 1st deadline for implementation. However, these changes are still coming up.
We help
Signe Anderson is a senior director of nutrition advocacy with the Tennessee Justice Center.
Because of rules like this, we can see individuals that are going to be forced to skip meals.
She points out senior citizens and children between the age of 15 and 18 will be most impacted. Rick Williams is a conservative political analyst.
A 15 or 16-year-old can take care of themselves at home while you go work. There's no reason you can't be working. There are plenty of jobs out there.
Scott tells me, as a convicted felon, getting a job isn't easy.
I will get one if y'all give me one. Y'all be felony friendly and hire us.
The Tennessee Department of Human Services still hasn't answered me when the new changes will be implemented. We will keep you updated if we hear back. Reporting in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
SNAP benefits have returned to millions of people's CBT cards following the government shutdown, but many may also be still at risk of losing them again if they don't meet new requirements implemented in President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Amanda Martin Ryan. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lockery spent the day getting answers. She now joins us live in studio to explain. Reagan.
That's right, Amanda and Chris. As part of that tax and spending bill signed back in July, many adult SNAP recipients will have to work, volunteer, or participate in job training for at least 8 hours a month. Those who don't meet the requirements will be limited to 3 months of benefits in a 3-year period. The requirements used to apply to those 18 to 54 who are able to work and don't have dependents, but the new law now includes those 55 to 64 and to parents with children over the age of 14. It also repeals work exemptions for the homeless, veterans, and young adults aging out of foster care. Community Action Pioneer Valley Executive Director Lev Ben-Ezra tells Western Mass News that data shows these requirements don't increase workforce participation. They only deny people access to food.
I am deeply concerned by these changes that we are seeing to SNAP, and I think it is really, really important for us all to recognize that prior to these changes in SNAP, we already were seeing food insecurity rates that was exceeding pandemic levels across our communities.
UMass Amherst food policy graduate student Elizabeth Resin says the new guidelines are confusing for average Americans. In her studies, she has spoken with several who receive food benefits in the Western Mass area. She says they are confused about whether they'll still qualify.
It's very dense, and it really takes somebody who has studied it to understand. So a lot of people don't know what they need to do to stay on top of it. People are frightened that, that they're going to lose their benefits, that they're not going to be able to feed their children.
Earlier today, Governor Maura Healey assured Western Massachusetts residents she would do everything in her power to make sure everyone who qualifies for food assistance, including SNAP benefits, continues to receive it. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Lockery for Western Mass News.
10.
It's been made increasingly more difficult
The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is back up and running after the shutdown, but new requirements taking effect next month are changing who can get them and the number of hours they need to work each month to qualify for help. Good evening, I'm Brendan Moronic.
And I'm Kelly Finley. The passing of the recent budget bill is implementing new guidelines for those working, those with immigrant status, even veterans. WCIA3's Tyler Hill is live in our newsroom. Tyler, these changes may catch some off guard. When do they go into effect?
Kelly, it's December 1st. Experts say that's when the clock starts for recipients to submit documentation proving they either work or volunteer at least 80 hours a month. Those participating in certain training or education programs can also qualify for assistance. Illinois Department of Human Services says proof of this and other stipulations will need to be in by February 1st, or people will begin to see their benefits end. I talked to someone who helps people apply for SNAP to better understand all the new details and find out how people should be getting this done. When should people start getting some of that
ASAP. Now, start finding your paperwork.
On December 1st, new requirements for SNAP eligibility take effect. The Illinois Department of Human Services says in the past, only adults between 18 and 54 had to work a minimum of 80 hours a month.
Now, 18 to 64-year-olds have to prove that they're working or volunteering or in a program.
IDHS says previously work requirements did not apply to veterans, young adults who grew up in foster care, and people experiencing homelessness. Now they will, with some exceptions.
Because you're a caretaker, because you do have a disability, because you're pregnant, if you don't have anything to submit to them or show them that you meet this exemption, then those benefits are going to be cut off after 3 months.
Refugees, asylees, certain victims of human trafficking, and certain victims of violence and torture are now also no longer eligible.
People, again, running away from dangerous situations, and that was a very small number of people who were getting SNAP benefits through these asylum and refugee programs.
But lawful permanent residents who have been in the U.S. for at least 5 years, certain Cuban and Haitian entrants, and individuals lawfully residing in the United States in accordance with a compact of free association can still apply. Adani Sanchez is the Client Services Coordinator for Champaign County Healthcare Consumers. She says these extra checks will have a negative effect.
A lot of paperwork, and there's going to be a lot of waiting around to see if those exemptions get approved, potentially putting benefits in danger.
IDHS says these new requirements will impact over 340,000 people in the state. They say after 3 months of not working, you will no longer be eligible to receive SNAP benefits. You will then be blocked from receiving them for 3 years. They say you can become eligible to receive benefits again if you prove that you worked the required hours or took part in a training activity for 30 days. Reporting live in the newsroom, Tyler Hill, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Tyler, thank you.
We have a follow-up on a theft in Leroy tonight.